Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to Happy Hour. And if you can hear me okay, give me thumbs up. Audio's good. Fantastic. Great. Welcome. Welcome to Happy Hour. I'm Nikki in Mountain View, California, unceded Ohlone land. And as we always do, we start Happy Hour by saying hello, warming up the space with metta, our greetings. So who wants to help warm up the space? Take it away.
Padma from Belmont.
Hi, Padma. Welcome.
Thank you.
Jesse Hammond, Centerville.
Hi, Jesse.
Neil in New Hampshire.
Hi, Neil. Good evening.
Hi, Fred in Oakland.
Hi, Fred.
I'm George from Texas.
Hi, George. Welcome.
Susan in San Mateo.
Hi, Susan.
Vicky from Oakland.
Hi, Vicky. And hello, Bill from Dallas, who says hello in chat. Anybody else?
Steve in Houston.
Hi, Steve. And hi, KJ from Karen from Santa Clara. Hello. Any last takers before we transition? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to declare the space warmed up with our metta and hellos to each other. And thank you for posting information about Happy Hour Google Groups to chat, Neil. We have a low traffic mailing list. And if you are new to Happy Hour, you're warmly invited to click on that link and become a member of the Google Groups where information and links and poems and things like that are shared. It's a pretty low traffic, and also you can keep in contact with the Sangha. So at this time, I changed the settings so that accidental unmuting won't be possible. And also chat is now changed so that chats will only come to me as the host, but I ask you to keep that channel quiet during the guided meditation and the little Dharma, because it can be very distracting to receive chats while I'm teaching, but I'll open it up afterwards. And last but not least, I will turn on the recording for the sake of audio Dharma. Here we go. Great. So hello, and welcome everyone to Happy Hour. It's lovely to see you. Hi, wonderful to see you. Makes me happy to see you. And for us to come together to practice. What a beautiful way to spend our time to cultivate kindness, cultivate goodwill and presence for this very life, for this life that seems to keep passing very, very quickly. Impermanence, in full force, full regalia, impermanence, arising and passing every moment of our lives. So I wanted to bring a couple of quotes for us to play with tonight, and they have to do with the passage of time and really how we show up for our lives, how the way we intend to show up for ourselves and for others. So a couple of quotes. One is by Alan Saunders. You have probably heard this one. Life is what happens to us while we are making other plans. Life is what happens to us while we are busy making other plans. And another one from Vivian Green, which is, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And here's a third one by Anonymous. Life is what happens when you're busy worrying about the future or worrying about the future. So these are the themes I want to bring in with the invitation, not for us to worry about the future and let life pass us by, but actually notice if we do have that tendency. If we happen to have that tendency to be worrying about the future or not really be present with our lives. So that's one invitation to really to land in our seats and be present for this beautiful, amazing, mysterious, challenging thing called our lives. Can we be present for it and not waiting for the storm to pass, not waiting, bracing ourselves for it to pass, but can we learn to dance in the rain with kindness, with patience, with generosity, with gratitude, with spaciousness for ourselves and for others? It's changing, shifting our relationship to the way we show up for our lives, for the sake of ourselves and others. And this is, of course, a theme that we explore at Happy Hour, cultivating kindness and compassion and gratitude in these practices of the heart regularly. And this is another way, bringing more leaning into the presence, being present with kindness, with spaciousness for what is, instead of bracing for it to be over. Can we celebrate the fullness, the busyness, the things being as they are, even if they are not exactly what we would want them to be, but they're here already. Can we be present for them with spaciousness and a sense of celebration even? So, okay, I think I've said enough to set the stage. So I will bring these themes in as we meditate together. So let's arrive. Let's land in our bodies and start meditating. So arriving in this body, in this moment in time. Can we invite our feet, our legs to rest on this earth? Sitting on a chair, letting the bottom of both feet to rest on the earth. On a cushion, bottoms of our legs, underside of our legs, and our bottom on the cushion on the chair. Relaxing, releasing, arriving fully. Taking our seat. Both figuratively and literally on this earth in this moment. Taking our seat. Taking our seat. Taking our seat on the earth in this present moment. As if experience comes and goes, as if there was a revolving door, comings and goings, and yet as if we were just resting, standing by this revolving door of experience, planting ourselves in the present moment, watching the flow of the comings and goings. We don't have to accompany them and travel with them, but just resting right here. This open revolving door, comings and goings, like this. And we be a kind, patient, wise witness, attendant at this revolving door of the present moment. letting the breath, the movement of the breath, the sensations of the breath in the body be a support to hang in, to hang by this revolving door of the present moment. The breath can be like a friend who supports us. We can lean on the breath to be more present for the risings and passings. Leaning into the breath, spaciousness. And can we release thoughts from the past, plans for the future, worries in this moment? Can we release and trust that the past is already gone? If we can be present, fully present, cultivating wisdom, kindness in the present moment, the future will take care of itself when it becomes the present moment. Can we be here, right now, supported by this friend, our breath? The in breath, out breath, spacious, present. Sitting by the revolving door of nowness, the revolving door of events arising and passing. The door, at the door is the revolving door. It's always now. It's always now. Can we just release? Open our hands for a moment. And appreciate. Take delight. This moment. Presence. Sense of full presence. Perhaps you can imagine yourself, if you like, as an attendant standing by a revolving door. If friendly, kind attendant who has goodwill, smiles at whatever passes through the revolving door, arriving, passing, moving through, greeting all phenomena with an open heart, an open, friendly heart of goodwill, not attaching, getting clingy, jamming up the door, not joining any travelers, moving to the future or the past, but just staying right here at the revolving door of the present. If you find the mind is wandering, not a problem. No worries. It's okay. It happens. This is what minds do. Gently inviting awareness to come and rest with the breath. Resting with the present moment, where it's most restful, right here. Resting in the presence with a smile, greeting all visitors that come and go in this moment, all phenomena passing through. And if it gets overwhelming at any point, it's so much passing through, just stay with the breath, just resting with the breath. being present for our life in this moment, in this passing moment, resting with the breath, with kindness and goodwill for ourselves or whatever is arising. And if there is currently a storm in your life, challenges, is it possible to imagine yourself for just a moment? Can you imagine yourself dancing in the rain, learning to dance in the rain, sort of bracing yourself for the storm to pass? Is that possible? If not, it's okay. Don't push it. Maybe the heart opens in just a second in some way to see yourself embracing what's difficult, what's challenging, being rained on, being soaked, being undaunted. By the deluge. And there be a connection, even for just 1 second, a sense of uplift or joy in the midst of this rain, the storm, the deluge, getting soaked. here, here, here. Resting with the breath. Here, in this moment, this passing moment, spacious moment. And as we turn to bring this practice to a close, feeling into this metaphor one more time. If there are challenges, rain, storms, can we connect with the freedom of getting soaked, dancing, singing in this rain, even for a moment? If it's available. If not, it's okay. Letting that go. Connecting with the metaphor of sitting, resting with the breath. And breath and out breath. At the revolving door of experience. Spaciously present. Here. Not leaving our post. Drawn after experience into the future or the past. Spaciously just here. Here. With kindness, goodwill. To ourselves. And everything and everyone that passes through these gates, these doors of awareness. And as we cultivate, plant seeds of presence and kindness, may we meet ourselves with goodwill. May we meet whatever arises with goodwill, even if there are challenges, with ease, spaciousness, as much as possible. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your practice. So, as I mentioned at the end, we're working with a couple of themes. One was this metaphor of sitting by the revolving door of the present moment. Nowness can be very helpful metaphor sometime. And greeting everything that passes through with a smile. All events, instead of having a sense of aversion or clinging, one or the other, with phenomena that arises. That was one. And then the other was this, can we for a moment have the sense of dancing in the rain? And again, the few quotes that I shared at the beginning connected to the practice today. One is by Alan Saunders. Life is what happens to us while we're making other plans. So the invitation was to be right here with the revolving door of experience instead of connecting and accompanying some experience into the past or future as a training. Of course, it might have happened 100 times during this practice that you did that, but we do it as a planting of seeds, as a training. And this other quote by Vivian Green, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, but about learning to dance in the rain. And it's funny because a few days ago, I was listening to this AI-generated playlist of songs, and something that came up in this song, which I hadn't listened to for a long time, hadn't heard for a long time, was the song Dancing in the Rain. Oh yeah, what an interesting, happy song, and what a concept of this idea of singing in the rain. I guess that's what it's called, singing in the rain. Like, I think the lyrics were something like, singing in the rain, oh, I'm happy again, how happy I am, I'm singing in the rain. I was like, oh, how interesting, right? Imagining us embracing the rains of our lives and just dancing and singing in the rain. So it can really, our practice, and the Buddha taught with so many similes, so many metaphors. My goodness, the suttas are filled with very helpful similes, and these metaphors, they really open us up to possibility instead of be with the in-breath, be with the out-breath. Yes, those instructions are very helpful and prescriptive, and metaphors can be so helpful to open our hearts and minds to the possibilities that we know, but don't relate to perhaps as readily if they were prescriptive. Same with poems. Anyway, so with that, I'd like to invite us now to take advantage of practicing with the community, with the Happy Hour community in small groups. And the invitation, the prompt for small group practice tonight is this. Was there something about working with either of these metaphors that you found supportive, you found opening? Or was there something particularly challenging? And you're welcome to, again, share from your own experience what arose, or you can say pass. Just be part of the group and hold silent, kind presence for yourself and others. Perfectly fine. You don't have to speak. And if you do choose to participate in the small groups, let it be a sense of kindness to yourself, kindness to others. Just like me, we're just like each other. We're just practicing cultivating our hearts and minds as well as possible in this limited time called human life, and share from your own experience. No questioning, not directing the group, but just sharing your own experience. And let's do reverse alphabetical order. First name, reverse alphabetical order is the order of the groups. And be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another. Just the breakout groups are also called breakthrough groups because we often discover so much about ourselves, about each other. They can be supportive. So I'm creating the rooms now, and take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Here we go. The rooms will close in about 10 seconds. We'll wait till everyone gets back. Okay. The rooms are closed. Everybody's back. Welcome back, everyone. And we have some time now for reflections, questions, comments. How was that practice for you? What did you discover? And also what you discovered in discussing it, perhaps in the small groups with one another. And if you haven't spoken in the large group ever or for a while, I'd love to invite you to pull forward. And if you've spoken recently or often, pull back and make space for for those who haven't spoken recently. Would love to hear your reflections. Lisa.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much. I felt myself kind of teetering between it was kind of really obvious what was coming up for me, and it was not a lot of in the revolving door. Like it was okay, this kind of emotional tangle of things that I was being with, but it's like I was teetering between like noticing a little resistance to it and then like going into it, like being in it, and then versus like having okay a little the like friendly kind space around it. And so it was like, well, and then when it was passing at the end, I was like, is it really going? Like, I don't know, am I sure? Like, okay, is this, so it was like that nuance. But yeah, I don't know, is that just something that like happens, or do you have any instruction or guidance around like the being in the thing versus kind of like coming out into kind of the space around it? And I guess I associate that with like the singing or dancing part, and then the rain maybe is like my direct emotional thing that's happening to me that I could, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I so appreciate the way you described it. Actually, this is lovely that you observed that at some point, you're in the midst, or you're entangled. It was like you're in the revolving door, you're hanging out with all the people, all the things that are coming and going, and like, okay. And then there was some spaciousness that happened, like, oh yeah, it's coming and going, this is happening, but there's some spaciousness of presence. And you associate that with the ease of dancing in the rain, being with the difficulties or whatever it is arising and passing. So actually you described that beautifully, Lisa, that transition yourself. And in terms of any guidance or support, I think leaning into the breath a little bit, kind of leaning into the present moment, can allow that spaciousness, but also and observing what you just observed about, oh yeah, I can be in the middle. There's a difference between the mode of being entangled with it and slightly different when, yeah, it's still arising, but there's just a little bit of space of observing it arising and passing. So I think you already have it. So I'm just basically affirming the wisdom you already have and the way you engaged with it wisely yourself. It's quite lovely. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. That is so great. And I forgot to open up the chat. So the chat is open either to me individually, privately, or to the whole group. Pietro.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. So thank you for the for the meditation and the theme, passage of time. And I was just reflecting the group how much time I spend in planning and worrying. So that's very humbling. But yet I also have sometimes this experience, I think, we all have, but of just boredom. It happened today a lot at work. There was just boredom coming up, and it's kind of like you want time to go faster in those cases. And it's really sad because, as you were reminding us, time is so limited. Our time is so limited. And yet there are those days when you actually want to go faster. So, and it's not pleasant to be in boredom. So I was just wondering if you had any suggestions, ideas, how to be with boredom, especially when you're at work and maybe it's not as easy to just engage in a different activity.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing this up. This is so important. Kind of the other side of the coin. There's the range of human experience, right? We realize we're spending so much time and thinking, and we're losing out in the moment, and then we're losing out in the moment because we want it to end, right? It's a different way of wanting it to end. Either we're in some difficulty, we're bracing for this challenge to end, or it's boring, and so the mind is relating to it, to the present moment, in the way of pushing it away, wishing for a future moment. And then when the future moment comes, like, oh, wait, wait, I just missed out on that. Wonderful.
Yes.
So you're bringing out another aspect of it. Great. So boredom. Um, boredom is such an interesting experience. It's not so much about what it is that's happening, but it's the relationship of our minds to what is happening. So I will venture to say there is nothing that is inherently boring, including sitting with your eyes closed, doing nothing, right? It's not, because there is so much that is happening that we can become curious about. So if we already know as meditators that we can sit with our eyes quiet and nothing is happening, and yet it's interesting, like, so, wow, we can become curious. The mind can become more curious and subtle about the subtle arisings and passings and in the mind and the body, and just really studying, turning the awareness to itself, to be curious, even if this can be interesting, as we know. So how can whatever thing it is that you're doing, how can that be boring? Can we bring more curiosity, not just to the act itself, to whatever it is, to the function that you're doing, to can we so two things I'm going to recommend. One is to bring curiosity and interest to the act, to the whatever it is deemed being boring, to the task. Can I learn more? Can I do this with, I don't know, panache? Can I do this with alacrity? Can I do this with interest? Can I do this with joy? Can I do this with a spirit of service? The task itself, can I do this singing in the rain? Can I, there could be a lot of different attitudes that you can bring in to just explore, to keep learning about yourself, about the task, etc. And yet another whole area is become curious about the boredom itself. Be really curious. What is happening? What are the words? What is the message right now? That this is boring. I don't want to be doing this. Oh, really? Okay, well, tell me why. What's boring about it? Let's explore this together, boredom. Explore how boredom feels in the body, in the mind. The moment you learn to become curious about boredom, you are never bored. It's fascinating. It's such a transition. It rarely does come up for me that I'm bored, and yet like there's some moments like I've noticed that the mind's like, oh, bored, like, oh, really? Oh, let's explore. What is this mind state that says boring? Like, what is this mind state? I'm curious about this mind state, and it just anyway, it can, any moment in life becomes fascinating. Does that make sense, Pietro, what I'm inviting you to explore?
Yes. Be curious with boredom.
Be curious with boredom.
And then you're not bored anymore. Yes.
Yeah. And also challenge yourself with whatever task there is, with the attitude and with different ways to learn and serve and be with. I mean, this task, is it to serve you? Is it to serve others? Are there other human beings that are impacted? Like, how can you relate to this task to find more meaning, more interest in it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Such a great question, really great question. So thank you all. This has been such an interesting period of practice. And one of you wrote a chat to me, singing in the rain is an energizing song. It sure is. So may you bring that in as an inspiration, Yeah. So thank you all. And how to think about serving when doing chores and cooking, especially when I'm bored. But that's exactly it. You're serving your family when you're cooking, when you're doing chores, you're serving your family. It's an act of service. And then again, have curiosity about boredom itself. Person who asked that question. So the mind is so interesting. It just labels the most interesting things as boredom. So, and we just believe it. Oh yeah, this thing is boring. It's just a label. Don't believe all labels. Have a beginner's mind. Have a beginner's mind and dance in the rain. So thank you all. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your cultivation. May all beings be well. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone.